This episode of Accelerate is brought to you in part by Discover.org. Looking to close 4 times as many deals in half the time? Discover.org's industry-leading, human-verified sales intelligence gives you all of the data and insights like direct dials, org charts, planned projects, verified emails, and executive moves you need to stop wasting time on research and spend more time talking to the right decision-maker with the right message at the right time. Their team of 250-plus sales researchers do all the work so that you don't have to. 2,500 companies are already using Discover.org to win more deals. So check them out at www.discoverorg.com. That's www.discoverorg.com. It's time to accelerate. Hey friends, this is Andy. Welcome to episode 585 of Accelerate, the sales podcast of record. Joining me as my guest today on the show is Grant Cardone. I imagine most people in the audience are familiar with Grant. Grant is a best-selling author, speaker, CEO of Cardone Enterprises, author of multiple best-selling books, including the New York Times bestseller, Be Obsessed or Be Average. And that's really the theme that we're going to discuss today. Why average is the enemy of obsession, and why being obsessed with serving others, with learning and improving, are the keys to achieving everything you want to in your career and in your life. If you'd like to see the show notes for this episode, go to andypaul.com/585. As always, we provide timestamp breakdown of this and all conversations on Accelerate. Make sure you check that out. Before we get to the interview, let me remind you that today's show is brought to you in part by our friends at Discover.org. The Discover.org platform is a game changer for sales, marketing, and staffing professionals. This feature-rich sales intelligence platform is supported by 250-plus researchers who continually update the contact data and provide account-specific insights to help sales and marketing teams break ahead of the pack. So you can see the product live at discoverorg.com/schedule-demo. That's discoverorg.com /schedule-demo. I'm sorry, I blanked out there for a second. Also, one last announcement is, and this is something that we really just launched on Monday of this week. It's an important announcement for those listeners who are sales leaders, VPs of sales of high-growth SaaS companies. Now, I'm teaming up with Jocko van der Kooi, the founder of Winning by Design and the author of Blueprints for a SaaS Sales Organization, a great book if you haven't read that. And we're launching something called the Sales Leadership Accelerator Mastermind. And what this is, it's an intensive 12-month learning, coaching, and mastermind program for the vice presidents of sales of high-growth SaaS companies. So if the responsibility sits on your shoulders to scale your revenue and your team, to grow, to hit that 100 million mark and go beyond it, then the Sales Leadership Accelerate Mastermind, that'll help you transform how you sell, scale, and develop the capabilities of your team to crush your goals. So if this program description fits you, then this is something that you should investigate, absolutely. So enrollment is limited to a small number. So to find out more information, go to our website. That's at SaaSSlam. That's SaaSslam.com right now to learn more and enroll today. All right, let's jump into it with Grant Cardone. Grant, welcome to Accelerate.
Hey, man. So thank you so much for having me here today, Andy. I appreciate it.
Well, no, honor to have you on the show. So I've got a standard question I ask all my guests to start the show is, in your mind, what's the single biggest challenge facing sales reps today?
They don't think big enough. The sales reps trying to hit a quota. Dude, I don't want to hit a quota. I want to make some money.
Well, yeah, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Real money. I want to make money that does more than pay my bills. This is why salespeople suffer. I mean, I've been in this space for 35 years.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I would have understood money before I took my first sales job. I wish somebody would have sat down with me and told me how much money it takes to not be worried about money every second of the day, every day. So see a guy gets a job, he's like, how much can I make here? And the manager's like, well, you can make, or whoever's trying to hire him, you can make about 70 grand. Well, it's because the manager and the company all think too small. So who wants to go to work for 70 grand when your cost of living is 68?
What would you have done differently? Early in your career?
Somebody would have sat me down and said, look, man, if you're not going to make 3 or 4 or 500 grand a year, like that's warm up money, by the way. That's just baby money. And I know some of your audience is going to be like, oh my God, this guy's sickening. Listen to what I'm telling you, okay? This ain't the Dave Ramsey show, right? This is Accelerate Podcast, okay? Got to accelerate the thinking. Like you don't buy a Ferrari to go 60 miles an hour. I mean, if you're only going to drive 60 miles an hour, don't buy a Ferrari. It's a waste of money. So everybody that's listening right now, you're sitting on tremendous talent and phenomenal potential. Why be paid 70 grand a year?
Well, I mean, how do people get out of their own way? I mean, one of the things that I see is that, and I hear this all the time, is sales reps today say, oh, it's so much harder today than it was 10 years ago or 20 years ago. And it seems like hardly a day goes by that I don't hear that. And actually, it's sort of supported by a lot of people who write about sales. And it's like, I don't think it's harder or not. It's not easier, but it's just hard.
It's harder because there's no payoff. Okay, it's harder because you have no chance of having freedom, right? So look, if you get locked up in a concrete prison for the first 3 or 4 days, you're going to try to break out. You're going to see what the walls are like, the doors are like, the cages, right? But then finally you're like, there is no way out of this place, right? You realize you're on an island that's 100 miles away from any other land.
Right.
Finally, you're going to become passive. You're going to be like, okay, I surrender. Apathy. This is what happens to salespeople because their goals, their financial goals, basically lock them in prison to the point, Andy, where why do I want to make another sales call, man? Okay, so I'm going to go from 70 grand to 72 grand. Okay, my cost of living is still 68. There's no money left over. Healthcare is going up. Whole Foods is going up. There's no freedom, man.
Well, but isn't some of that freedom, I mean, these days we're seeing more and more in sales with, the transparency that some of the sales automation tools provide and the data that's driven, into managers' hands they put the salespeople in prison as well. I mean, make your 50 calls today. And they don't give them the freedom to do something better. It's all about quantity, not quality.
If you make 50 calls at my company, you won't work here next week. Okay? Mm-hmm. First of all, I have people that work for me that make 30-year-old gentlemen, 30-year-old guy, he's been with me 4 years, he'll make $1 million this year, and he's not in management. Okay, why is he going to make the extra call? Why is he going to work through the program, right? He doesn't feel like he's a trapped mice, having to live in the walls of the house because he's not going for a little piece of cheese. He's going for a score. Salespeople, sales professionals, you need to get your head wrapped around how much money it takes to actually have any freedom. I was doing a gig for Northwestern Mutual, and the average earner in the room made $940,000 last year. And my opening statement or question was, how do you guys live on 940 grand a year? And they're like, what? I said, how do you live on less than $1 million? How do you even feel good about yourself when you go to sleep at night? Right? So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to shake people out of this I'm just going to get by mentality. So you're not focused on how hard it is, but how big the victories could be.
So back to the previous question, though, is it the fault of the seller or the managers, right? I mean, in that environment, sellers can think big, but do they then have to become entrepreneurs to really have that freedom?
I mean, I don't know whose fault it is. I mean, maybe it's a conspiracy. I don't care whose fault it is.
Yeah.
It's like, what are you going to do about it if you're listening right now? What I'm trying to tell your audience is, hey man, you need to get to 400 or 500 grand a year before you're going to experience any financial freedom. And if you can't do that where you are, you got to figure out how to do it where you are or go some other place because You're going to hate every job you have. You're going to end up hating your marriage. You're going to hate your kids. Look, it takes $1.2 million to get a kid from birth to college. Damn. If you got 4 kids, it's going to cost you $5 million just to get rid of them. So you better make some money. And this is what people are not told when they go work at State Farm or the pharmaceutical agency or wherever they're going into the real estate. The average real estate person can't even buy the house they're showing.
Right.
Because nobody gave them a financial course of what it takes to be great. And by the way, it takes money to be great.
I mean, you talk about obsession, and I think this is when I talk about passivity in sales. This is one of the issues I see is they're not committed to doing more. It seems like it's hard to get them over that step to say, hey, you've got to be obsessed about earning this amount of money.
Totally agree. I have to be like, if you ask most people, how much money do you make? Most people don't even know what they make. Ask them what they paid in taxes last year. I'm not sure. I have to check. Okay. How much is in the bank account right now? I don't know. People have given up on money. Now, if you're going to be a salesperson, you don't want to give up on money. If you're just going to have a job that can't pay you, like you can't get a commission, you can't control your income, you can't control the outcome, don't get a sales job. Go be a waitress. But even a waitress can control her income, right? She could make as much money on the tip as they made on the meal if she's got a phenomenal attitude. So all I'm saying to you is before we teach people to sell, how to qualify, how to fact find, how to do all that stuff, that sales stuff, or the product, what is the product, or how to add value. Man, teach people how much money they need to actually have some freedom. And maybe what you'll find out is all I need is 60 grand. And then me and you will never accelerate that person, Andy.
No. Well, I think that's really sort of the topic I was driving at with that is just, this is what I see is too few people. I mean, you've built obviously a heck of a business with people that are motivated to take life into their own hands, but it's still such a small fraction of the population that's out there. It's like, how do you reach beyond the top performers to start with this message?
I think you got to go wide. You got to talk to everybody. You got to start waking people up, and I have an audience. Some of them live in New York City and some of them live in India. So I got guys that use my programs that make $5 million a year, $50 million a year, and $50,000 a year. So I'm talking to an audience. I'm just telling them the truth. This is an economic planet. It penalizes everybody that's poor, and it penalizes everybody that's in the middle. Only until you get to the upper ranges of the financial spectrum do you start getting some freedom. And I'm talking about the top 90%. The middle class does not have any freedom today. Okay, it is not what it was 30 years ago. So I think the way you reach more people, Andy, is you start telling the hard, cold, truth of the situation. And then all of a sudden people feel like they're under threat. People actually perform well when they're under some kind of pressure and threat.
Well, I mean, you talk about in your work that, 3/4 of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. I mean, it seems like everybody should be feeling like they're under threat.
Yeah, no, unless I've given up, right? Unless I start making sense of it. 76% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. And if you ask most of them, their social answer is going to be, oh, no, I'm good. No, I'm all right. I'm fine. No, we good. Yeah, I was in Whole Foods this week. Yeah, we had to leave there and go to Publix or Safeway or Albertson because we couldn't afford I can't feed my kids with organics. No, we all good until we get the cancer. No, we're all good until my mom gets sick. No, we're all good until the car crash. No, we're all good until healthcare fails us. See, so everybody's all good until they ain't all good. And then what they do is they criticize me for my bad English. Well, my English is good, but my English is bad, but my bank accounts, they healthy.
Yeah, that's a trade-off I think most people would make in life. So, so obsession, I think, is a scary word for many people because it reeks of this commitment of doing more, perhaps than they're being comfortable, or maybe of life being out of balance. But I mean, you talk about obsession as being a means to achieve balance. So what did you mean by that?
Yeah, what I meant. I wrote a book called Be Obsessed or Be Average. And I'm basically encouraging people to own their obsessions, to grab them, use them. Like to feed the beast, to feed the parts of you that want to be great, that want to be rich, that want to be phenomenal, that wants to be the star. And I know people right now, I don't need all that. Yeah, I'm telling you, find that. When you were a kid, you thought about being a Superman or a Superwoman or an astronaut or super rich. I meet kids and I'm like, what do you want, man? I want to have all the money in the whole world. Like, you mean all of it? All of it. I want to have every penny and every. I'm like, only a kid would think that big, right? But it is the right way to think and to be obsessed with that, right? I want to give people permission to be obsessed with what you wanted as a kid. Because if you don't own the obsession, all that energy all that energy that you had somewhere long ago or maybe last weekend is going to come out in some weird, funky way. Okay? All that energy is going to come out some weird, like, oh, now I'm obsessed with how my mom feels about me, or I'm insecure, or I'm worried everybody's going to get me sick. The weird obsessions, the bipolar, ADD, ADHD, all the problematic stuff. So look, everybody that's great on this planet that me and you know, the Steve Jobs to the Jesus Christ and everybody in between, they were all obsessed.
Well, one of the big obstacles I find oftentimes when we're trying to get people motivated is, and you wrote about this, is you can't get people to turn the TV off rather than spending an hour or two in performing or doing something to improve their craft.
People are spectators. People are spectators. So, a man told me once, he's like, Grant, safest place, no matter how dangerous it looks, the safest place is on the field. It's not in the stands, and it's not at home. Be on the field, buddy. All the admiration on this planet, all the attention is on the field. It is not in the stands unless there's drama. It's not at home unless there's drama. Okay? The game is played on the field.
So is there a conflict between the obsession and the need to be able to serve others?
I'm obsessed with serving others. So I don't have a conflict. See, drug addiction, you can't serve anybody. That's an obsession. I'm obsessed with drugs, but that's not an obsession by choice. The guy is now addicted. He doesn't have choice involved anymore, right? The alcoholism, whatever. The guy who's watching porn all the time, whatever the weird thing is. You're playing games constantly. You can't get undone from the gambling addiction. These people basically, they don't have a disease, man. They have misguided obsessions. And so all those people, by the way, basically suppress, in my mind, I believe suppress some other desire to be unique or great or phenomenal. And they sat on it, and the drugs or the porn or whatever gives them a relief, right? It's a sense of relief until one day they don't have a choice in it anymore. So for me, I'm obsessed with helping people. Otherwise, why would I be doing this with you today, man? The check you sent me didn't cash.
Yeah, I'm surprised about that. So is this what can we do at a sort of educational level? Because now we're seeing more sales programs coming into schools or universities and colleges, but is any of this something that we can handle, sort of start handling at that level?
Again, I think people need financial literacy too, And what if you were 15 years old and you'd have been taught how much money you actually need? Were you even taught anything about money as a kid? Other than your daddy telling you a penny saved is?
Not much, no.
Yeah. So, our parents taught us to save money, but never taught us how to make it. You were basically taught everything out of sequence.
Yeah.
Saving money means nothing if you don't know how to make it. Then I would have to be taught how much I need to make. And then at some point, well, how do I make money? Oh, go into sales. What is sales? Sales is when you basically find a problem someone else has and you fulfill it with a product or service that you have. And they exchange for that money. And how much money do I need again? You need lots and lots of money. So I would say that you need like at least $100,000 a month, $25,000 a week. It's $5,000 a day. If you work 15 hours like I do, it's only like $350 an hour. People make it.
Sure.
The money's available. It's on the planet, and then I can still sleep 8 hours. Money. I need lots of it. The sales idea is starting to sound better and better to me all the time.
So you want to get into it?
Yeah, exactly. See what I'm saying?
There you go.
Rather than, hey, you got to get a job when you get out of college. Oh, yeah, what do you want to be? I don't know. I want to be a veterinarian. Okay, well, veterinarians don't get rich. Okay, I don't know any that make $1 million. I'm going to give up on that idea. Who makes all the money? Sales. Justin Bieber's a salesman.
Sure, absolutely. All those guys are.
Tom Cruise. If people don't buy his tickets, he ain't getting his $20 million.
Yeah, so that's an interesting question. I imagine you probably know some people in show business and so on. Is You ever had a talk with them about sales, what they sort of consider sort of their sales secrets?
I was talking to DJ Carnage this weekend. He's a rapper, right?
Right.
He does, audiences that 25. I said, DJ, you need to get to Miami, dude, and we need to work on your sales game, baby. We need to get your sales game right. We need to be sure you're maxing out your dollars, getting all the money you can, all the ching-chang and the guala and the ding-dongs. Okay, whether you get paid in euros or US, bro, it don't matter. Number one, it's got to be enough, and number two, we got to figure out how to multiply. There's three things that people don't know about money. They don't know how to make it, they don't know how to keep it, they don't know how to multiply. If you could learn those three simple things, how much do I need to make, how much do I need to keep, and how much do I need to multiply? If you're getting paycheck to paycheck, even if you make $1 million a year, okay? If you're making $1 million a year and spending $1 million a year, sooner or later you're going to quit making $1 million a year.
Right.
Because you're going to realize I can't win at this game, right? So our target is 40%. If a guy earns $1 million, he should keep 400 grand. 400 grand after all expenses, all living, all investments, he should have 400 grand left over to start multiplying. He should be able to operate on a 40% ratio. But to have 40% left over, man, you got to make a lot of money.
And that's for 40% after taxes?
40% after taxes. So I got to make a lot of money to do that, man. I got to know where my money's going. So I'm telling DJ, we got to focus on the money, baby. We got to focus on how much money there is left over and then what we do with it. So whether you're in the movie business, I'm talking to a person who's 23 years. She's had a hit TV show every year for the last 20 out of 23 years. And she's talking to me about one thing. Man, I need some money. So even people at the top levels, man, have trouble with this game because they never, number one, they don't learn the sales game. They turn it over to an agent to cut their deals. And number two, they never get into a place where they can multiply their money.
So, interesting comment about agents. So, do you think the celebrities, actors should be cutting their own deals, cutting the agents out?
LeBron is.
Sure. He's his own agency, right?
Okay, Michael Jordan did. Dude, all the players have control, bro. Control equals income.
Interesting.
Come on, man. You know that. Control. Okay? Now, I don't need to control my jet. I don't fly the jet. I just need to know that the two pilots that get in the front, they know, they think we're going to get to the other side.
Right.
So that is control, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I need control of time. I need control of money. I need control of the environment around me. Where you don't have control, where you lose control, you will fail. And that pertains a lot to sales.
Absolutely.
You don't control the sales cycle, you don't make the sale. They control it, you don't make it.
Well,
that doesn't mean I need to be in control of the customer, by the way. I need to be in control of the sales cycle, not the person.
Right. Yeah, I mean, you can't control other people like that. So I guess back to this issue of control is so we sort of touched on it earlier, is there's this obsession with managers have on metrics, key performance indicators, and so on, versus actually connecting with people and selling with heart.
Well, they're not in control, man. Those people that are just like looking at metrics and numbers, they're not in control. That's why they're doing that. They're like, I got to see the numbers. Okay? So why don't you just pick up the phone and sell something? See, the reason they're chasing the numbers is because the sales are off. And the reason they're not on the phone fixing it, instead running around like an idiot, or going to another conference to try to get the metrics and what they should be, or talking about how to reduce expenses, the reason they're on defense is because they ain't on offense. And offense in sales would be pick up the damn phone, man, make a call and sell something. Get in front of a customer, sell something, close a deal and get some money. Income solves a lot of problems.
Yeah, well, I think people that also focus on metrics, to your point, is they've never picked up a phone and called, right? Too often now, and at least in the tech business, you see managers being promoted that were never in sales.
I mean, look, metrics are important, managers are important, but managers aren't stars, man. Let's keep it real.
That's right.
Okay. Managers aren't going to be Tom Brady,
No.
or the owner. They're managers. I mean, they're managers for a reason. We didn't call them superstars. But I do need managers. I mean, they're critical and they're vital, right? I need a navigation. I need that. And middle people, particularly the middle level people, need a lot of support, right? How do I do this and how do I do that? And maybe hold me accountable. And the company needs to know that they're doing that so that they're giving their employees the best opportunity. But a superstar don't need all that.
So let me ask you a question about the future of sales, because there's a lot being written about the increased influx of artificial intelligence, machine learning, bots, and so on. What do you see start happening in B2B sales over the next 3 to 5 years? Or some trends and what people should be doing about it?
Look, if you're average, you should be feeling like T-Rex right now. We know what happened to him.
Right.
So you either better learn how to live in the ocean at 6,000 feet below the sea level, because you're about to be extinct.
So what do they do?
Or you better get great. You better get great, because there's not going to be anything in between. You will be replaced by a robot.
So if they had to focus on 2 things to become great, what would you recommend?
Frequency, number 1. Frequency. Nobody gets great being infrequent. You got to be frequent. You have to kick up the volume of your activity at least 10 times. Whatever you think is enough, you're wrong. Okay? Just multiply by times 10. So if you're making 70 grand, your target should be 700,000. If you're making 700 grand, your target should be 7 million. You do the same thing on phone calls. Okay? So look, you can't make the schools where your kids go 10 times better. You can change your income by 10 times. You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I can't change my product. I cannot improve my product 10 times. I can improve the number of customers I talk to by 10 times. So number 1, I would increase the frequency. And number 2, I would get away from everyone that contradicts the message I'm giving you right now. I would quit reading anything and everything about inner child, love yourself, the 4-hour work week, life is to be enjoyed. This is all bullshit, okay? Time management. There is no time management. Time is made up. It's completely made up. So how can you manage something that's freaking made up? All right? So you got to pick a side, okay? Pick a side. You're not going to be frequent if you don't pick a side. Pick a side. You want to be average or you want to be great? Because that's your only 2 choices. There's no losing here. There's losing and there's basically everybody that's barely getting by. I mean, if we really look at it, if everybody got really, really honest, the only people that are winning, look at Amazon. He's going to win big.
Yeah.
Why? Because he went big. He went wide. He went deep. He went everywhere. He put it all on the line. So that's who's going to win in the future. Not guys that are waiting, asking, am I going to be replaced? But guys that are actually like, hey, man, let's replace everything that takes too long. Let's replace everything that's average. Okay? Bank tellers, postal workers. Let's just go over the list. TSA.
Sales development reps.
J.C. Penney's, Macy's, car dealers, car salesmen at car dealerships, bank tellers. Anywhere I gotta wait, man. The McDonald's chick, the girl that she's been bitching about her $10 an hour job. You know what? She ain't gonna have one in the future. She's gonna be like, ah. So everywhere there's average. Teachers, you're gonna go away. These teachers, gone. Taxi cabs, history.
Oh yeah.
This is happening. This is not gonna happen. This is happening.
So if you were going to look at what you teach right now and say, okay, what am I teaching that's new in 2 to 3 years? What's that going to be?
Well, first of all, we've been for years now teaching a collapsed sales process. It's much tighter. It's not wrong. It's not the old school, like the more time you spend with the customer, the better off you are. It's not even true, okay? The less time you spend with somebody, the better off you are.
Yeah, they don't
Everybody wins.
Yeah, they don't want to spend time with you, your buyers. Yeah, go ahead.
I don't want to spend time with them either. So, I sell very high complex, very, very high-end, everything from multi-million-dollar programs to companies to I'm raising $40 million for a fund right now, okay? We don't spend more time with people. We spend less time with them. But we have a very systematic, sharp, tight, transparent sales process. So I would tell people, you need to be transparent. You need to initiate all issues. Don't wait for them to. You need to set your intentions early, not late. Price should come first, not later. So we've completely flipped the sales model upside down. Half of our business comes online. 40% of our business comes online, 40% traditional, either business to business, door to door, or phone, over the phone, and then 20% comes in person, where we're actually in front of a person.
Mm-hmm.
So what would I tell people, man? Dude, look. Pay attention to what I'm doing. You're going to see exactly the future of sales.
All right. Love it. All right. Well, Grant, we've just run out of time, but really appreciate you being on the show. Tell folks how they can connect with you.
Just wherever you're online, put in my name, Grant Cardone. If you can't find me,
you're not trying.
Well, you don't need to make another sale.
All right. Yeah, you're pretty ubiquitous out there, and yeah, you search for Grant, they'll find you. All right, Grant, thank you very much for joining me.
Thank you.
All right. Friends, thank you for spending this time with us. Make sure you come back again tomorrow for another great episode of Accelerate. So until next time, this is Andy Paul. Good selling, everyone.